What's up, fandom? Today we've got a very special show for you today. We're going to be talking about, how do we say this? Is it Justice League, the Snyder Cut? Or
Zack Snyder's Justice League.
You just
Zack
say
Snyder's-
the Snyder Cut.
Snyder Cut.
Yeah, I think
Everybody
so,
knows
yeah.
what it is.
That sounds good. And joining us, we've got Oliver,
What up?
Jason Simpson,
What is up with you?
and the incredibly talented Comfort and Adam.
What?
Hello.
So, guys, before we really go into the verse, what were some of your key takeaways, non-spoilery, for this film?
I want to first say it's a slippery slope, not necessarily for the film itself, but the fact that it was made at all, it emboldens a lot of people who are kind of not nice. And that's putting it lightly.
It's
Yeah.
very polite.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
polite, PG-13.
Yeah, for the industry, it does things that may not be good.
Yeah,
Doesn't
it's
bode
extremely
well.
bad. It emboldens the worst actors in fandom, and it's pretty bad out there.
Otherwise, it was fine.
I'd say better than the theatrical, certainly. More coherent, more consistent. Still just kind of fine as
kind of
a
fine.
movie. Yeah.
All right. What about you, Jason?
I liked it a lot. And this isn't spoilery because it's in the trailers and whatnot, but the moment that I saw Steppenwolf's new armor, that's all I wanted to see, and his new face, just the new animation,
everything.
new design of Steppenwolf. That's all I ever really wanted. Of course, there's more, but the fact that they did that right, I was all in, because it just looked worlds different.
Wasn't that the same armor from BVS? Was that the same Steppenwolf armor, the floof ones that looks
Yeah.
like feathers, steel feathers?
But the minute I saw it, I went, okay, I'm gonna love this, and I did. I loved the movie.
Nice.
There's lots to not like and lots to pick apart, but that's my go-to right there.
Nice. What about you?
I feel similar in that regard. I really like this movie, and as mentioned by everybody here, there's a whole lot of stuff we can get into it. We can say this. Obviously, we're seeing like the kind of like the extended edition of comparing it at least from lengthwise of everything, and be like the extended edition of Return of the King, basically. But we didn't get like a theatrical cut of Return of the King. We got something that's even smaller than that, yeah. So it's like we didn't get like the optimal cut, I guess, probably to go into theaters and everything. So, but I really dug this movie, and yeah, it's like I appreciated that we got a lot of backstory on the other members of the league that didn't get their own movie, all the non-Trinity, you know.
Yeah. I'm right there with you. Like, I remember watching Justice League in theaters, and then that was it. I don't think I've ever seen it anywhere else or again. And there's parts of it when we get into it, I don't remember if I watched the same movie. So there'll be parts where I'm like, did this happen in Justice League that wasn't in the Snyder Cut that I just do not remember? Because there was part of me that was like, maybe I should just watch the original Justice League before we do this. And then I was like, I remember not liking that movie, so maybe not. So I just didn't. But this movie, like, to me, it was almost like a brand new viewing experience. So it was almost like the first time of me watching it. It was very long, and I think that is a detriment to it. I feel like there were parts that you could have cut out. But overall, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's one of those, like, I would like to watch it again, but that 4 hours is just, that's a really long time to carve out. And yeah, I know it's got, chapters, but one of those chapters is like 2 hours long. So that whole chapter is a movie by itself. So it's one of those, it's like, it's not really chapters. So
They're only like 30 minutes long, I think, at the max, right?
I don't know. That one, that second to last one is long.
Yeah, it's true. Let me see what
The
that
like
time is.
Fathers and Sons one or whatever.
Oh yeah, the epilogue. Yeah. It's like
Yeah,
you could,
that's long. That's a big one.
yeah, it's like it's like if we're being completely honest here, you probably could have cut out the whole nightmare the second nightmare thing. You got the taste of the nightmare during the premonition part. And
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
What an overly indulgent, wasted time that was.
I mean, it's one of those.
Yeah.
If you throw a bunch of money at it, which is what they did, it's like, why not? It's like, yeah. And
I have several reasons why not.
Yeah.
But
Sorry.
you could only do so much, and it's like, it's really like this was done for the fans. So all the fan servicey moments
Mhm.
were just, especially the ring part. I was like, what is this Tinkerbell crap? Like, I thought it was dumb, but I enjoyed it. But at the same time, I'm like, why are y'all doing this? Is stupid. But yeah, I would give it. I would definitely. What would you guys rate it? If you guys kind
I
of know
would-
our rating system.
I would say you can stream this movie in part because it allows you to watch it in chunks. We watched it in chunks, actually. We watched it during the times that we ate every day.
Yeah.
So we'd
Yeah,
watch it for a
in like
half hour.
Half-hour
Be great.
increments.
Next.
Yeah. I would say if you are into these movies already, like if you enjoyed Batman, Superman, and Man of Steel, first off, congratulations, I guess. But if you like those movies, definitely you will love this movie. Buy the damn thing. I don't know, whatever. If you have a curiosity, if you're a fan of like genre fiction and superhero movies broadly, generally, you could maybe stream it if you can square off the 4-hour time frame to do so. That makes it so hard to recommend because who has that time to just sit around and do it?
If you've not watched it though, this is a tough movie to stream because you'd have to have seen the movie beforehand.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
There's
if you
so much.
if you don't have any connection to it, if you're not into superhero stuff, if all of this has just gone over your head anyway, I just wouldn't bother. This is a hard pass for anybody but the devoted, I think.
I can see that. What about you, Ollie?
So for me personally, I probably do the VOD thing. I do the rental for $4 or what have you.
Okay. I can see that. Jason?
Well, I did enjoy it a lot. I'm really invested in these movies. I just love the visceralness of them. I love Zack Snyder's movies. Guilty. So I wouldn't buy it for double digits. I wouldn't pay like $20 something for it. But to pay a monthly to stream it, absolutely. Just because that's where we live in now. 15 years ago, I would have bought it, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely a streamer. In fact, I signed up for Crave and then for HBO Canada because I'm in Canada.
Mhm.
Last night, right before I watched it, because I wanted to watch it. So it cost me less to do those two things than it would be to rent it on demand. It cost me $10 for the month.
Mhm.
So I can watch it as many times as I want. And that's a great deal for me.
Yeah, I'm so out of everyone, I'm apparently the only buy. Just because I like physical media. Like I'm a weirdo. I'm all about that. Like give me the physical copy of something. Because when the internet goes out, you can't do nothing. So I'm like, I can still pop in that DVD and I'm good to
True.
go.
So,
So-
so 4K or Blu-ray.
Oh, 4K. I don't mess around with Blu-ray anymore, dude. Like I'm straight 4K now. Yeah, like I'll buy the 4K just because it will be interesting, those special features when this
Can you
thing
imagine?
does come out. That'll be a whole
I would be terribly curious to see the special features.
yeah.
What
But I
else
would-
is there?
I'd be more interested to read like the unauthorized behind the scenes,
Yes. Yes.
like
I
bios.
want to watch the movie about this in 40 years.
Yeah.
When
The
they
Hearts
can
of
get
Darkness
that would
sort
be
of-
interesting.
Yeah,
And I don't I don't see them not putting something out with this, like an exclusive, the making of the Snyder
I'd
Cut,
watch
and
that.
like watching, like I could honestly see that being a whole 2 hours by itself of them being like, here's the movie, here's all the backstory that led up to Zack leaving. Just because I know some people don't know all of that.
Mhm.
here's everything that happened here. Here's all the reshoots and everything that happened after Zack left. Here's how the movie ended up not performing as well as expected. And then you see like the backlash and, them approaching him being like, hey, let's go ahead and do it. And then I want to see, because I feel like that would be on the special features, and that I want to own, because that's another movie entirely.
Yeah. That's like LTR like extended edition stuff.
Yeah,
on there.
where that's like a whole 7 hours worth of extra features on top of your 3-hour movie. Yeah.
The problem I see with something like that is there's no way Warner Brothers is going to be honest about any of it. It's just going to be a puff piece like crazy. You're not going to learn anything. It's going to be the nicest footage they can put together of everybody joking and laughing, because ever since Ray Fisher came out with the accusations about his treatment on set, it's been constant spin control from them. So will they put something on the Blu-ray or whatever you like? Probably, almost certainly, but none of it's going to be honest, and we're not going to know what the real story was. That's why, give it 10 years and somebody's going to do a real deep dive on this. And I think then we're going to find some interesting things, because there's a lot to be said. And this movie, oh boy, it takes a village to screw the pooch this bad over this much time. $370 million to get to this point. A lot of things, fascinating things must have gone wrong at every stage of production. That I want to know about, but they're not going to let us know about that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it would be a nice bit of transparency from them to let us know everything that happened. Like, will they do it? Maybe not, but it would be interesting if they did. Because I mean, it would give them a lot of like, obviously I don't see them talking about the Ray Fisher stuff in something like that, but I see them talking, like, I can see them throwing Joss Whedon under the bus, just being like,
which
this
is
dude
deeply unfair.
effed everything up, and here's what he did. Here's what we didn't like, but we had to do it because we had already spent so much money by this point.
Yeah, but that's exactly the kind of stuff I'd be afraid of, because Joss Whedon, not a great guy, not somebody I want to stand up and defend, but at the same time, I don't care who you are. If you're dumped this pile 4 hours of footage in your lap, completely unfinished, and you've got like 2 months to turn it around into something, cut it down to less than 2 hours, and you've got the executives breathing down your neck with all the changes that Zack wouldn't let them make, that now they can make entirely. Who could possibly make a good movie under those circumstances?
I feel a good director may have done something and been like, hey, listen, let's do 2 parts. Like,
they would not have allowed it.
If you've got the movie, I mean, if you've got all the everything, like, you can make that 2.5 hours each.
I think they were
From the
freaking
fan
out by
perspective.
this time. There's no question the studio was already like in a fucking tailspin because of Batman v Superman. It did so bad. The backlash to it was so harsh. They were terrified.
They were terrified.
And so I would say this is not so much a Joss Whedon thing. I think they hired him and they were like, okay, can we do jokes? Can we sell this? Can you put this in? And Joss Whedon was like, sure. 2 months? Okay. I mean, the creators for Avatar, right, are awesome. And most of Korra is great. But season 2 of Korra, not so great. Why is that? Because they didn't have the time that they needed to make a truly great movie or show, because Nickelodeon was like, oh, it's 1 season. And then it did well. And they're like, oh, crap, more seasons. And you've got a few months. Put it together. 24 episodes. Go.
It does feel like Korra's definitely should have been a one-off thing, just because the way that first season ends and you're like, done. We literally blew up Steve
It was
Bloom
what it
in
was
a boat,
supposed to be.
and it was great. All right. Okay. So really, before we go into spoilers, there was a little bit of news that came out. Black Adam is still apparently going on. So I honestly thought that they had nixed that movie. But yeah, apparently it's still going on, and they cast Pierce Brosnan as probably one of my favorite DC heroes, Dr. Fate. I am very excited for that. Yeah.
Okay.
Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate. And I'm like, that's pretty dope.
That's exciting.
Pretty dope.
I can get behind that.
Yeah.
Me too.
It's like, yeah, the guy, the horse guy from Percy Jackson. He's
Yeah,
gonna
that's
be
what he's
Dr.
best known as. Yeah.
That's it. That's
I mean,
the
what
thing
else?
to
What
bring
else
him
has he
from.
been in? I
And
mean,
it's
that's
the
the
same-
only
It's a
thing I know
Remington
him
Steel.
from.
Remington Steel.
Remington
That's-
Steel.
The slimy boyfriend from Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah.
There we
Yes,
go.
yeah.
There we
That's what I
go.
know him from.
One of
There
my
you are.
3 dads
Oh.
from Mamma Mia.
Oh, yes, the famous singer Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah.
Was he the actual dad? Is that how Mamma Mia ended? Was it Pierce Brosnan?
Oh,
I don't
you're
know.
you're
I
asking
never
if I've
saw
seen
it.
that movie.
I think
man.
the real dad and Mamma Mia were the friends we made along the
Found
way.
Yeah,
That's
that's good. The real dads were the dads we made along the way. It's like, we
The
got
dads we
Brad
made
now.
along the way. That's funny.
And then the other bit of news, our good friends over at Atomic Comics. That's not what they're called. It's Atomic Cartoons. Oliver, do you remember Atomic Comics?
Atomic Comics, no.
Of course.
No,
Oh.
they were on they were in Dell City, over by the base. But yeah, it was a really cool bookstore.
Was it Atomic Comic or Atomic Pop?
There was Atomic Pop and Atomic Comics. It was
Oh, okay.
weird. There were 2 Atomics, and I would ask my parents to take me to one, and they would take me to Pop, and I didn't want to go there. I wanted to go to Atomic Comics. But yeah, Atomic Cartoons. They're the studio that does the Last Kids on Earth on for Netflix. So they're actually doing a one of those choose your own adventure Netflix interactive story things for The Last Kids on Earth, and that comes out on April 6th. And hopefully we're going to be doing something with them for that. Hopefully. Josh, cut this if that's not going down, but you know, it should be going down. But yeah, so we should be doing something with that. So congrats to them for doing that, and maybe season 4 sometime. Who knows?
I've never had a less enjoyable time watching Netflix than when I was watching. I think it's is it the Bandersnatch? Is that what it's called? The Black Mirror,
Yeah.
where you got to choose your own adventure. Get it out of here.
Well, what's great about this one is like when we talked to them, they were like, yeah, this whole thing is not like actual canon or anything like that. So if you kill a kid, you kill a kid. I mean, it happens.
You can kill the kids in. Oh wow.
I
Okay,
don't
well,
know. We don't know yet. That
It's
was
just
that
got very
was
serious.
that was stuff that we were talking about. It
Now we're
probably will
talking.
not come to pass. I'm sure all 4 of our heroes will be safe and sound. It'll be like Dallas. It'll all be
Be a dream at the end.
It'll be a
It's a
dream at the end. They're
Yeah.
gonna wake up and be like, "Oh wow, what do you know? Everything was a dream."
We'll all be in the
Is it not-
shower.
One of
it
them
not-
will
is it
open the
not-
door. There'll be
man.
a shower, and it'll be like, "What?"
I'll
Victoria
find
Princess
a
will be
way.
there.
I'll find a way to kill those kids, man. I'm terrible at those games. Every time I've read one of those books, I found the worst ending every time.
Soundbite.
So
I'll
Dark-
find a way to kill those kids.
I'll find a way.
And clip that, and we'll replay that. That'll be the intro for the episode.
Listen, no, you go that thing going full Attack on Titan, man. People got to people got to go. You know.
Sometimes you
and
gotta get got.
when this episode comes out, Attack on Titan only be like a couple weeks away.
But it was like
The season finale will have come out, or series finale of the anime. I
They
guess.
haven't specified which. Yeah.
Yeah, will come out. That comes out
On
this
Sunday.
week.
Yeah, on
that comes out
Sunday.
this week. So yeah, we'll have already done this. So we already know. Yeah, can you believe that? Are you guys watching Attack on Titan?
No.
Okay.
We're
DL care.
You're behind. Oh dang, never mind.
Oh, okay, okay,
Oliver
we
and I
can't
were
spoil
gonna
it.
spoil something, but we can't now, so it's all right. We won't do
Sorry.
it. We'll be good.
Well, it's like we'll just say it's like the anime is pretty far behind the
Oh,
manga
yeah.
still. So there's it's like they either have to do like 2 movies or they'd have to do a full like 16 episodes or
Yeah,
whatever.
they're
After.
like maybe like 30 maybe 20 to 30 chapters behind on the manga. So it's gonna be weird.
Maybe the last episode of the season is a 4-hour director cut.
It's
That
the
would be
Yama cut.
interesting. I could
It's
see
the
them
Yama
doing
cut.
something like that.
Yeah, Cyborg really is much better in the full last episode of Attack on Titan.
Mhm.
He's- yeah.
Oh, dude, wait till Mikasa gets the Green Lantern ring. It's gonna be pretty dope.
I actually
Anyway,
would like to see that though.
I'm just kidding. It wouldn't go to Mikasa. It would go to someone good. Like it would go to
John.
Falco. It would go to
Go.
John would be great.
Mhm.
We've had
Are we
s-
still
we've had-
talking Attack on Titan?
No,
Yeah.
okay, we're done with
Okay.
Attack on
Alright.
Titan. Jason's gonna leave if we continue with
I need
Attack
some
on
more milk.
Titan.
Go ahead.
Okay.
He needs more milk. All right, so spoilers now for the Snyder Cut. We're gonna be talking about it. Earmuffs, I guess, or just turn this off if you've not watched it. Like, what's the point?
You really should watch it though if you're gonna watch these things. I think most things are just doing spoilers. Just it's not
Yeah.
that hard to get.
Yeah.
HBO,
like why would you click on it if like why would you click on this
Yeah,
episode?
it's actually pretty cheap to have that HBO streaming service, and you might as well
get
There's a lot of
30 you
good
get
things on
30
it.
days free, or if you have AT&T,
Yes.
you can just get like an unlimited plan and just get it free
Yeah.
forever.
Yes,
So
And you might be able to finish the Snyder Cut in a 30-day free trial.
I love you.
yeah.
You might
I
be
mean,
able to squeeze it in.
if you do it, 30 minutes every dinner,
Yes.
I mean, you'll
Like
be,
some
you'll be there for a
people.
while. That's a good week, more than a week. So
Yeah.
there you go, kids. All right. So for the Snyder Cut, now correct me if I'm wrong. I could be getting my
wait.
movies mixed up. In the original Justice League, was there like a weird subplot where there was like a family on like the outskirts of
Yes.
that Russian town?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was completely abandoned. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I was waiting the entire movie. It's like, are we gonna see that little Russian
No.
kid? Like, is
Thankfully,
that gonna
no.
show
No,
up?
That's just not a Zack Snyder thing that he's gonna do.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
Zack
it-
Snyder doesn't care about
no,
people.
no.
He
but-
cares about the heroes.
Sure.
The gods get all the
Right.
screen time.
If
There's never
other people die in
bystanders.
his movies, he doesn't care. But that was really tacked
Oh.
on. But that's why it was most likely a studio edict to say, "Hey, this is what people are complaining about." It's like watching the Beauty and the Beast, the live action Beauty and the Beast, and it's like they looked at YouTube and they said, "What's the complaints about the original Beauty and the Beast?" Ah, I see. I'm gonna put all those in there. And that's what the Justice League movie was, is what are the complaints about this DCEU that we're making? Let's put all those in there. And not saving civilians or taking care of civilians was definitely one of it. Even Marvel did a big like middle finger to DC post Batman v Superman with Age of Ultron.
Ironically, in another Joss
In
Whedon movie.
another Joss Whedon movie where they're like, we're gonna save everybody on this rock of people. We're not going to let one person die. Haha, screw you, DC.
Well,
I don't know. I thought that was actually a criticism of the attack in New York also. In
I was about to say,
Avengers,
like,
too.
didn't they destroy New York like in the first one?
They
But
did.
There are
but-
several scenes of the Avengers
Correct.
going out of their way to try and keep civilians safe so that you can have your cake and eat it too.
Well,
Right.
there's a
versus
scene of Bruce
Superman
Wayne
that's
with
like,
a small child.
No.
Okay.
The
No.
the one child that he saves in all
Yeah.
of Metropolis. Be
So
like,
Superman,
this one will tell the tale.
Superman, first of all, doesn't really want to be a hero, and his parents are both like, "Hey, you shouldn't do this.
You don't
because
gotta do
people
this."
don't deserve to be saved."
Pa Kent saying, maybe you should have let a bus full of kids die. I don't know. Ma Kent in the Batman Superman, you don't know these people anything. Like, it's the most immoral depiction of the Kents that you will
Right.
ever see.
And then, like, he's fighting in Smallville, and he's like, "Where can I throw this car? Could I throw it into the IHOP, or could I throw it into this cornfield?"
It's hilarious.
Hmm.
Like, there's a
IHOP.
cornfield just like 10 feet away, but he targets the building full of people. Like,
when Wonder Woman comes down to stop the bomb and she has the one dude left, she could have snapped the guy's neck. Instead, she blows the entire front of the building out,
Yeah.
concrete
loves
showering
fire.
down
Who
on
does-
people.
this priceless ancient architecture. She just showed that she's faster than bullets.
It
And
survived.
he's trying to reload.
It
She could have
survived.
done anything.
That bank survived the Blitz. It did not survive Wonder
They
Woman.
did, no, it didn't.
How many of the
She did
police
more
on the
damage than
ground?
anybody.
Oh my gosh! Like
Survived.
all the I'm sure one of them's got a concussion. That
One of
was
them-
a
yeah, one of
lot
them
of
died.
rubble.
Yeah,
Like-
That was nuts.
yeah.
Oh,
So,
man.
anyways,
But again-
there's a chuckle factor there, but that's why I don't
People
think
don't
that's
matter.
Joss Whedon. that's more the studio being like, I saw on YouTube that this was a problem, so make sure you have at least somebody that they're saving.
They got to save somebody.
Exactly. So put the family in.
I mean, they lost a couple humans, like humans, I think, died in this film. Not
Several.
a lot.
Yeah, not
Well,
as,
There were
not
a lot of
whole cities.
Atlanteans. Oh, actually, no. Maybe not even a dozen Atlanteans. There were maybe like 7,
No.
and then there were
yeah.
like all of the Amazons. Like
Yes,
they
there was a lot
killed
of dead
so many
A
Amazons.
lot of dead Amazons.
Like,
Yeah.
the fact that they still have an army is like incredible. Like,
well,
how
Yeah, go
many
sorry,
how
go.
many Amazons were on Themyscira? Like, cause like that's what I want to know. Cause like at least 500 die. Like at
It's like-
least.
It's like Game of Thrones. You lost half your forces in the Battle of Winterfell or whatever, even though it looked like everybody was decimated.
yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. Be like, oh, they were in the crypts. It's okay. They were all in the crypts. Like,
It's
I
fine.
will say they do transport a lot, just like on Game of Thrones, because like that one lady, she made it from there, from the crypt all the way back to the main city, raised the army, and got the whole entire army on horseback, decked out, ready to go.
Oh, word.
That one lady.
I don't know her name. I don't know her name.
All right.
Sword lady.
Thermopylae.
Other sword lady.
Yeah.
Like
Awesome.
and
I
they
buy it.
and they pulled her, and so like they got the whole entire army to get there like just in time for Steppenwolf to snap and say deuce out and like transport up to the Enterprise. So that was pretty cool. Like I thought that was a bit like, oh, that's convenient. The CG.
Yeah.
Now here's something. Was the CG in that not good?
The CG wasn't really good in the first.
Not in the
lead-in.
original.
No, not in the
Okay.
No,
original. I
No.
think one of the things they did do well is they really spent the money to make the CG look good. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like Steppenwolf could have used some calm areas where my eye could rest, because as far as design goes, you want, here's the detailed area, like Colossus. Colossus's outfit, very simple, versus his awesome banded metal. And what that does is it creates contrast, and it's not too much for the eye.
If
But-
you have all of that detail crammed
Right.
in with nowhere to rest your eye, nowhere to break all that detail, then it just blends together
Right.
and you don't notice the detail anymore.
And
I think
you guys,
well, I mean, I think
would
that might
know a
be-
lot about. Sorry, real quick, Jason,
Yes,
just to interrupt.
design.
And you guys
I
would know
real
a lot
quickly
about.
interrupt you.
Okay, that's fair. That is fair play.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
But yeah, you guys would know a lot about design and artisticness,
Right,
because
yeah.
what do you guys do again?
We make comics.
Yeah,
our-
that's
our
right.
Yeah,
job.
comic
we
creators.
do a superhero comic called The Unique. So the idea for Steppenwolf is really quick. Of course, yes, he is a million times better than what he was.
Mhm.
But you still have to say, what are the criticisms here, just like you would with any other movie, because what I'm not here for is to give this or any film a free pass because it's better than the other thing that was really bad before it. I don't want to be beholden to the tyranny of low expectations, and whether or not sometimes we intend to do that or not, we will do that when we're shown something really bad and then something marginally better.
Jason, sorry, I interrupted you.
No, that's all right. I was interrupting you and interrupting me. Interrupting you. I totally hear all of that, and I think I agree with you. As far as Steppenwolf goes, I loved the chaos of looking at him and it just constantly, what part of his suit is moving and why? And then when he took it off, or even taking the helmet off, for me that was like, okay, there's some skin and it just doesn't move and it doesn't flicker and ripple and all that stuff. But I loved just staring at him on the screen every time I was just so fascinated by it.
I feel
think
like
the thing-
this. I want to say, I feel like overall this movie it had the potential to be better. And I want to say that it is a lot better than Man of Steel or Batman v
Mhm.
Superman
Yes.
in my mind. What my disappointment is that this movie was trying to juggle so many things at the same time. And I was like, man, I wish I would have had that Flash movie before this. Man, I wish I would have had that Cyborg movie before this.
Yeah, this movie only needed to be 2 hours if we could have had like the setup
Right.
done beforehand.
Yeah.
I think that Steppenwolf for me is a great metaphor for the entirety of the film. and in some ways Zack Snyder as a director, because Steppenwolf's design has a few extremely interesting things going on that I love. I love the way the spines like breathe with him, and I love how they react to his mood and his whole body expresses. That's awesome. But it's a couple interesting ideas repeated infinitely across the entire canvas with nothing else. And when all you have are those couple good ideas and you repeat them forever, they stop being interesting.
Like slow motion.
They like a slow motion shot, right?
Like 28
know-
minutes of slow motion.
He's got Zack Snyder has 2 or 3 really cool shots, and he just repeats them over and over and over. He's a step up from Michael Bay, but he's very much in that same school of thinking of film in terms of cool shots married together by cool transitions. But he's not thinking in terms of what is the dramatic and emotional impact of these shots? What is the emotional impact of this transition? What am I saying with the camera? He's just like, oh, that looks cool. And that's all that matters. But when that's all you do, none of it means anything anymore. And so all of the cool things that he is bringing, all the very specific and distinctive voice that he has as an auteur becomes muted by his lack of variety in just painting the same 2 or 3 notes across an entire canvas.
We should let other people talk. Where's
Was-
Daddy Kathy?
Was
We
William
apologize.
Dafoe in Justice League?
No.
There's
No.
no such person as William Dafoe.
Thank you. Thank you.
What's his name?
Willem.
Willem. Sorry.
He was in Aquaman.
Okay. That's what I was wondering. I was like, because I was like, I don't remember Willem Dafoe in Justice League, but
You remember
it w-
correctly.
it was one of those. I was like, I could have been wrong. Now that was something that was confusing to me because I couldn't tell when this movie took place. Like after seeing Aquaman and then seeing these scenes, I was like, I thought you guys met for the first time, and didn't your hair get darker? Like I got really confused about in this movie because I was like, Mira, I was like, your hair is not as red. It was like super red in Aquaman, but it's not as red here. And I was confused there. And then Willem Dafoe, and I was like, you're very angry at him right now, and like he already has his mom's trident. And I was really confused about that. And I was like, wait, I thought his mom had took it with her.
Yeah,
And
I think
I
it's
was-
better to just think of it all separate.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
Aquaman is its own separate, crazy, insane, let's throw everything at it, like
Terrible.
nut fest. Like it's bad, but it's almost hilarious bad. And
Yeah,
I love it
hilarious.
in that way, that it's just like, let's do everything. I don't care. Sure, fine. Well,
We also got a couple of green. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jace.
As long as we're very clear that it's not the movie's fault that you don't know what's going on
Yeah, that's
when it
that's
comes to
very
when it comes
true.
to timeline.
That's
I mean,
very
you, I
true.
don't mean you. I mean everybody.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I was with you. It's like, as long as you know the audience doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah.
That's how you know you've told your story correctly. I like that they added some Green Lanterns. I thought that was nice. I do like that all Greek gods have just,
Just
Red-
jacked.
red arms and red legs. I was like, man, we've been drawing Greek gods wrong this whole entire time.
And
It's
David Thewlis as Ares.
Yeah.
That's again that misstep was a one rotten patch for me. Even if it was so brief to see his face as Ares, he's a brilliant actor and I love him, but as Ares, he's terribly cast.
He's like, he didn't speak this
Yeah.
time. What was he here to ruin?
His CG didn't look good, man. His
Maybe in there
CG
for
was not
15
good.
seconds. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
that-
bad. Also, I thought it was weird that he was like, "Hey, Dad, hold my stuff," and I was like, "Why are you having Zeus hold your stuff, man?" Like,
Kids are always
Zeus,
getting to hold their things.
Zeus is on his way out. Even then,
I guess Zeus was like, "Oh well, I guess it's my kid," and I was like, "What?" Like that part, I was like, the most unbelievable part was that.
No, he's the Pa Kent, the true Pa Kent's like,
Pa
go get him,
Kent.
son. Go get him, son.
That's my boy.
Yeah.
That's my boy.
So proud of you.
They grow up so fast.
And then yeah, we kill a lantern, and obviously
Too easily.
we
But it's
kill
like,
a
it's-
lantern
it's-
very easily.
Yeah.
And sorry, real quick, Oliver, we kill a lantern really easily. And at this point, I'm sure that the Corps knows about all this, all that's going on. And wouldn't they send, I don't know, maybe more than one lantern?
There's only one per sector, man.
Yeah, but they
When have they ever bent that rule, Oliver?
This is 5,000 years ago, apparently.
It's not worth
Like I happen to
their time.
Maybe this was the mistake that taught them a lesson, so that next time.
Oh.
That's not bad actually.
Woo,
Like,
retcon.
Learn from that.
I was supposed to say, like, I seem to remember Guy Gardner and Kyle Rayner being in the same comic at one point in the same timeline. So
Yes.
it's a thing that happens.
Mhm.
And Hal was there, I'm sure, because who cares?
Yeah.
It's Hal.
Yeah, whatever.
The
My
most
frustra-
blah
yeah.
of the lanterns. Hal Jordan, the most one that everybody knows, but also the most bleh.
Yeah.
Very boring.
He's fine.
Definitely
Very
no
bland.
Kyle, for sure.
No.
Sorry, Oliver, I was interrupting you.
Oh, it's good. It's good. I was gonna say, it's like the reason that lantern got killed because he didn't know how to do the constructs and stuff yet. It was just all in just raise a green or whatever. It's like shoot, like
Yeah.
it's like do a chisel or staff or something. You know,
Something.
Something.
Like put
Anything.
the
Something,
cool
anything.
green bubble around you or something. But he was like, no, just punch. And it was like,
Like Batman.
Show
Like
us what a
Batman.
Green Lantern can
I
do.
can't use my cool Batman stuff. I'm just gonna punch things.
I'm just gonna pick up this rifle and shoot people
Yeah.
because that's what Batman does.
I
That's
will say
Batman.
the rifle looked way cooler in the Snyder cut than it did in the it was
Sure.
a different rifle. So I mean,
But
it
still,
looked a bit cooler. And he
he's
didn't
Batman.
smile. Batman didn't smile in Snyder
True.
cut.
Okay,
Um
that is number one.
real quick, I could be missing something. Was Bruce Wayne kind of a dick to Wonder Woman in the Justice League movie?
Yeah,
yeah.
And that wasn't in this movie, correct?
y-
Like
no,
I don't
so-
remember him being a dick.
I was like, he didn't bring up like Steve Trevor out of nowhere or whatever
Yeah.
to,
Yeah,
to
that's
piss
what
her
I
off.
thought.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because like I remembered in the Justice League, I was like, oh yeah, Ben Affleck was a dick in this one. But then like I was waiting for that to happen in this. I was like, he didn't do it.
there was a whole subplot in the original one where he was trying to get her to, come out of her shell and actually like be a hero again, which was weird because at the beginning of the movie, she has that whole scene where she's fighting against those terrorists. And then you're like, yeah, but I mean, she did do something. So I'm confused as to what your point is here. Exactly, Batman. Shrug. And that again was, I'm sure, a studio edict where they saw that online people were saying, hey, Wonder Woman's been around a long time. Why hasn't she done anything? And so they're like, yeah, you should put that in the movie so that we're addressing it.
And then that little girl's like, I want to be like you. And Wonder
Yeah.
Woman's like, can I? I mean, she's like, can I? And Wonder Woman's like, no.
it felt so weird.
That would have been
Wonder
like,
Woman gets
no, you
done-
can't, child.
Wonder
It's
Woman
like,
gets
so
done
you have no
murdering
quirk-
all these people.
So you
and
have no
blowing
quirks.
up
You
the
can't be a hero.
Wonder Woman, I thought it was really cool when you grabbed that guy and threw his head against the marble slab and blood was everywhere. That was cool. Can I be like you when I grow up? And she'd be like, don't. Just don't. You don't want to do that. This is a bad
So,
idea.
I don't know. She's a demigod and she's the Amazon too. So it's like she might have been like, sure, yeah. It's like do it. Like it's fine.
What would have been great if she would be like, and your name shall be Cassie Sandsmart. And you're like, oh my gosh.
Wasn't the girl's name something like Cassie? Because I thought
Was it Cassie? Because that would
it
have been
wasn't.
hilarious.
No, it wasn't Cassie. I thought it was like this.
Who was the
first,
one?
like,
Who was the one before? The first
one
one?
before. Yeah. I
What?
thought- yeah.
The one that like Dick in
Who are you talking
Titans.
The Wonder Woman sidekick, who's the first Wonder Woman sidekick?
Was it
Donna
Donna Troy?
Donna. Was her name
I
Donna?
thought her name was Donna.
No,
That's
Okay.
terrible. That's
No.
they should never do that.
they should never do that.
All right.
Well, you
I
know
could
it's
be wrong.
probably not, because if it was a side character like that, Zack Snyder probably would have just killed him off for fun.
Yeah,
Just Jimmy Olsen them all.
I'm
We thought we'd have
surprised-
some fun with it.
I'm surprised we didn't get like a Jimmy Olsen death in this. I was
No, he's
expecting.
already dead.
Did he
There isn't
die?
time.
I don't remember. Was that
Yeah.
Batman vs Superman? Did they kill
Yeah.
Jimmy Olsen?
Yes.
Yeah, he's
He
the
was-
CIA guy.
Correct.
Oh.
Yep,
oops.
he's dead.
Wait, was he Law and Order?
Forgot about that.
Law and Order.
Wait, wasn't the dude from Law and Order in Batman vs Superman?
I don't know.
It's Christopher Maloney. He was in Man of Steel.
Oh, okay. So,
Yeah.
I'm a DC fan and I don't even remember the movies. Jason, what was
Yeah.
so you really liked Steppenwolf. What was in the story? Were there story aspects that you liked that they added, or that you could remember that weren't in the first one, or that you could remember?
You know what? He
period?
was so. First of all, Kieran Hines is his voice, and that's so much of the character comes from that because he's so brilliant. He's just an incredible actor, and I just want to listen to him all day long. Even though they've modulated, and who cares? It's still him. There's still the gravitas that his voice brings. He's a brilliant actor. So hearing him and seeing the light in the eyes that they gave him, the less defined nose, he was so pathetic at times, and so I felt sympathy for the guy sometimes. Not sympathy, but
It's the empathy a little bit. Yeah.
maybe
Yeah,
a little bit.
they made him out to be a
Yeah.
whipping boy in this one, and I was like, oh man, that's poor
It's,
Steppenwolf.
it's like I just want to go home, y'all. I just want
Yeah,
to go
just
home.
like, can I
I
go
just
home,
love that.
please,
I
Darkseid.
love that so much because he got to. The actor gets to use his chops, and it's not just I'm bad guy, I win, I'm tough, no one can ever beat me. You see that
I definitely agree with that.
he's got someone above him, and oh man, just his that's something that was really big for me. Don't get me wrong, it's not the Steppenwolf movie for me. Visually, I loved it, but just the actors, just the voice work, really made it. That character.
Again, I don't remember. Was Darkseid in the last movie, like, at all? Okay, so all
Nope.
of that
had
was
a-
new.
There was a flashback or something, a flash forward or a dream sequence or something. Was he not?
No,
I
he
don't
was
think
never
so, no.
never seen on
Not
camera.
in any
Yeah.
of the.
Referenced maybe, but
I was
Well,
like,
they
well,
referenced.
well, it's like
And we
it was-
saw the Omega symbol, I think. But
Yes.
Maybe that's it.
I was like, no, it's like in Justice League. I don't think so. The only thing, if you knew that the mother boxes had anything to do with anything, then that's the only connection you knew about
Okay.
Darkseid.
All right.
Yeah,
Okay,
they might have
'cause-
said the name too.
that makes sense.
maybe, yeah, but it would have been like once or twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
barely.
Okay.
If
See,
that, yeah.
that makes sense because, like, I like watching this. I was like, I don't remember us seeing Darkseid, but I could have been wrong. Again, I didn't remember half of what happened in the movie. I did like all the Flash stuff. I thought that was weird that they were like, oh, maybe the Flash gonna get a girlfriend, and then he saves her and steals a hot dog, and then we never see them interact ever again. And I was like, well, what's the
Yeah.
point of this? Like, why insert this random thing that just as easily could have been a bus full of kids? Anything, but I mean, it's kids, so we
Well,
wouldn't
you
have put in
can't
Zack Snyder.
creepily stroke the face of a bus full of kids.
You could what if it's
Individually,
the
you
bus
could.
driver?
Just
Just
take
go
longer.
zip, 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 zip,
I mean,
zip
he
to
is
each
fast
one.
enough. He is
I
fast
will
enough.
say
I know I want to see that.
Right.
it is funny that he like touches the glass. That was cool, and it like bends and breaks.
Sure.
And so like
yeah.
the moment that he went to touch her, I was like, I wanted to see her face like G ripple, like that. Just be
It's
like,
inconsistency.
hello, and she's just like, she
Yeah.
wakes up and she's like, I've got a concussion. You're like, oh shoot.
It's
like-
littered with that stuff. The running at that speed caused his shoes to explode off his feet, but his clothes were fine for some
Mhm.
reason.
Well, he didn't have
So-
to turn with his clothes. They
But the
turned with
friction
him.
of the air
Yes, yeah.
across his body, like if you're gonna walk up to that lineup, but in reality, like Zack Snyder wouldn't let him carry
Yes.
anybody or move anybody because in reality, if he moved people at that speed, they would just tear apart. And it's like, but so would a lot of other things. You're only
Mhm.
you're
I-
picking and choosing.
Yeah. So
I hate the lightning bolt. Sorry, real quick. I'll like I hate the lightning effect. I think it's corny and I think it's stupid. Like I hate that. I'm just like, let him be fast.
I think you're
Why-
wrong.
Why would we see that? I'm not a fan of it.
I agree. I think you're wrong on that too, because it's the only thing about Flash that differentiates him from the other speedsters we've been seeing in
Yeah.
superhero so far. It's
There are
the
other
one thing.
speedsters in super. Oh,
Yeah, good
yeah,
old
it's
Evan
You've got
Peters.
Two
Yeah.
different Quicksilvers
Yeah.
and Flash on TV for that matter.
Yeah.
So there needed to be something to make him different, and this was an interesting.
Okay.
I'm for that. I like the effect generally. I do think that it is deprecated by the fact that everybody in this movie moves at slow motion. So Flash's special effect isn't really his special effect. It's just another slow motion shot, and that
that's a good
undercuts it
point.
somewhat. Aquaman walks down that long stretch of pier
For like
drinking and
5
thinking about
minutes.
how sad he is, and it's like a minute and a half of slow.
It is a
just
very long-
walking.
It is a very long
Did
time.
they randomly Icelandic sing in that movie
Yes,
too?
they did.
Like,
Not
I
in the
mean,
original,
but-
yeah, in the original, because
For
I was
Zack
like,
Snyder.
what is this?
Well, they're the sirens.
Who?
The sirens.
Okay.
What?
But
Yeah, sirens. The sirens are on the coast, and they call in the sailors, and the sailors are mesmerized by the sound of the siren, and they crash on the rocks. That's the mythology of the sirens.
They steal coats and sniff them.
Well,
Apparently, so
it worked because I was staring at the screen dumbfounded through that entire scene.
Oh man, I loved it. I'm like, those are sirens. That's incredible.
now, if you know that, I think that's good. But that's the thing with storytelling.
just so
You have to be
random.
clear about what you're doing, and there are a lot of things, and this is why I could be like, yeah, I guess stream it. But if you're not a fan, and so for instance, we do a superhero story. And our references are from all over the place. They might be Marvel or DC. They might be, other movies or TV, and they might be other superhero stuff. But our fans, who are generally, I'd say, between the ages of 14, maybe to 30, that's I think the general
and then
age.
there's me,
And then
32.
there's you, 32. We have a few older fans that I've noticed, and I'm like, oh my goodness.
There's
you
4 of
know
us.
about
We
this
meet on
stuff.
Thursdays.
I'm very proud. Yes. So when they talk about stuff, they're like, oh, you made it like this thing. Like they'll almost exclusively reference Marvel movies because they don't know anything else superhero like, or even a lot of movies and TV beyond that. And so many things in this Justice League movie, in this Snyder Cut movie, are very nice. But if you don't know what they are, or why they are, or what the context is behind them, or what they're referencing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, you're going to be like, okay.
Because it doesn't have any reason
Right.
to be
Even
in
Flash
the movie
moving
on
back
its
in
own.
time at the end, we kind of say that, but I think even
They set that up though.
they did set that up, but I think that other audience will be like, what's happening exactly? I think it's cool, but I don't think it's clear. And that's the differentiation.
Yeah, but there's little details that they don't have to explain to everyone that some people will get. I mean, the sirens come from the Odyssey, and that's Homer.
Sure.
And
Sure.
Ulysses and his men have to navigate the islands and stuff their ears with wax so they don't get entranced by the sirens. So just that little tiny bit of mythology, I thought was just a really cool, clever little, because he's the king of the ocean and they're singing after him. And
See, you explaining that makes more sense. I
Right.
get it now that you explain it. That I feel like maybe somebody could have been like, those are sirens.
yeah, okay,
know,
but then
when you're staring down,
but then it gets rid of the whole
when you're staring down the barrel of a 4-hour movie, maybe a 3-minute sequence of sirens that has nothing to do with anything, never comes up again, has zero payoff,
Oh, I think
and
it has
no
everything to do with
point in the
Aquaman, though.
plot. But it doesn't tell us anything about him.
unless
It doesn't
you know,
give us any meaning
unless
unless
you know
you
the
already
mythology
know.
of the sirens.
But if you already know, you don't need to be told either. So it's not doing anything for you beyond just being a little Easter eggy moment.
Right.
It's
That's it. That's just
4
it, though.
hours.
That's just it.
Cut
It's an
it
Easter egg
out,
moment.
for God's sake. It's
Listen.
more needless director wank doing
here's
it
what
because
the scene,
he can.
Here's what the scene really did. When we first watched the Whedon cut, my son said to me, "Well, he's just leaving his clothes on the beach. What's going to happen to those clothes?" And so when we watch this, it's like, oh, that's what happened to his clothes. So it served a purpose. Thank you.
Well,
And yeah, they get picked up by sirens and
Yeah.
they
Shut me
get
up.
sniffed and then sold on eBay.
They're
Okay.
clothes.
Hey, hold on. I'm going to mark you down a star in my eBay review because this did not say it was previously sniffed.
I agree. I do agree with you. I do agree with you, Adam. I love the term director wanky because I look for that stuff all the time so I can berate it and roll my eyes at it. But I happen to love that sort of little detail. But I'm totally with you. I totally get what you mean.
Everybody likes it when they're the one getting wanked.
Yeah, that's
but
exactly
the rest
right.
of the audience is there like, why am I here for this? I feel like
You
I'm
put that in for
intruding.
me.
So I wrote a lot of notes down in phone because why would I use paper? But so one of them, okay, do you guys remember right before the mother box in Atlantis erupts, it's like there's 2 guards in the area. I thought that was a bit much. Like, I mean, I thought that was a little bit weak from the Atlanteans aspect. Like the Amazonians have like a platoon of warriors around this thing's like, and they're like, it budges an inch and they're like, and they're ready to go. And like the Atlanteans are like, we got 2 guys and like Mira's here. And like, there's 2 guys outside, but of those 2 guys outside, one of them swims away. Like when she comes out the door, he swims away.
He gets like,
and
nope,
then
I'm
and
out.
then this other guy comes up and he's like, hey, we tried talking to the king. He said no. And she was like, go get the army or get what we have. And he's like, you got it. And then it's like jingle, jingle, jingle. And he's like, what? I should go check that out. And I'm like,
no, go get. Yeah,
I was like, what?
Get
where did
reinforcements.
my big question is, where did that guy go? Where did the guy that swam away go? Like, is he just
He's,
gonna?
he's alive.
Like, is he gonna come back like
Yes,
10
I
minutes
think
later and be
that's
like,
a good answer. He's alive.
like, is he gonna come back 10 minutes later and be like, I just got done eating some krill for lunch. It was delicious, and like everyone's dead.
According to the
it's just like-
timeline, though, this is Orm's Atlantis right now. So that guy
That's
probably got a promotion. He's in the cabinet now.
That's
He's
fair.
overseeing. He's
Yeah.
overseeing defense now.
It's like your priorities were straight. So you were worried
That's
about
right.
you're worried about the surface dwellers, like like
That's
the rest
right.
of us. Yeah.
Cronies always fail up in the Orm administration.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Fail
was like, yeah. When
Don't
that
blame
happened,
me. I voted for Starro.
Also, was that Starro looking thing? Was that in the in the original movie? The thing that like latches
the
on to
brain bug thing.
No.
Yeah, was that
No,
in the?
Think
no.
so,
No.
Okay, when that popped up, I was like, I see what you did there. It's like a little Starro replicator thing. Like, I see.
Yeah.
Zack Snyder must like Stargate.
He likes,
So
he likes
that's,
spiders. That one producer that Kevin Smith's always talking about with the spider. He showed up again.
Ah.
You son of a.
So that's a good Easter egg.
It's that is a
Okay.
good Easter egg.
Oh,
That's
I
a
see.
good
I
Easter
get
egg.
it. Okay.
The big thing and the thing that I thought was the most egregious omission from this entire film was the Korean idol band Red Velvet was no longer on the on screen. Oh no, it wasn't Red Velvet, it was Blackpink. Blackpink was no longer in the Flash's area with the computer screens and everything like that.
Wow.
Like,
That's
yeah.
a keen
So-
eye there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I noted like in the movie, I like when I was in the theater, I'm watching it, I was like, is that Blackpink? And then I waited to the credits, and then the song, I was like, it was Blackpink. And then in this, I was like, oh, I get to see Blackpink again. I'm like, nope, nothing, nada. And I was like, well, this is pooey.
So,
Unacceptable.
okay, can we reverse back to, I guess, like the mother boxes and defenses and sort of stuff?
Oh, you mean the movie?
Yeah,
Okay, I guess.
Yeah, but no. But like so we see that we were talking about, yeah, it's like, so for the mother box defense, yeah, it's like the Amazons had the full platoon. It progressively get less and less, right? So it's like, yeah, you get Atlanteans that have a couple folks, then the humanities, like even at the very beginning, they're like, heck with everything. It's like, hey, so we're gonna bury this, we're not gonna tell nobody about it.
Shallow grave. They
Shallow
only buried
graves
it like
everywhere.
3 feet in the ground. They didn't even take an afternoon to do it.
Yeah,
a
it's like-
better job
Oh
of
my
burying.
God.
They did a better job of burying Jumanji than they
No
did.
kidding.
Yeah, no
burying
joke.
the Mother
No
Box.
kidding.
But at the end of everything, after 5,000 years, it was the last box taken.
Yeah.
That whole scene too. where-
Humans put it to use too. Is like they create another god out of it.
They did. Yeah.
when they showed the sequence of Darkseid
Yes.
fighting the armies of men and Atlanteans and Amazons,
The army of
it's-
men and elves that fought against
Yes.
at the end
They
of
They
the,
took
Yeah.
Sauron
when we had our Lord of the Rings,
at the end of the age.
it
into the first
just
age.
raises so many questions for me. It's another great example of something that is there because it looks cool, but not because it makes any sense.
Right. They
to
didn't
the story
really
being
think
told.
about
You mean
what
how?
they were
Oh, sorry.
doing.
Go ahead.
If Darkseid can be wiped out by spears and bows and arrows and one god who later is beaten single-handedly by Wonder Woman,
Yeah.
how in the heck, why did they not come back 1,000 years ago, right? Like the people of the Dark Ages could beat him worse than any other planet in the universe.
It's stated in the movie.
As stated, he'd never lost until he got shot with some arrows.
I
He
did-
got shot, he
And
got, he got
then-
shot with the lightning bolt.
And they got to try. Okay. One Superman, who again Wonder Woman beats in single combat in her movie,
Mhm.
and he's gone forever. Why does the Mother Box wait until Superman dies to wake up? Why not just as soon as the Atlanteans sink into the oceans, the Amazonians are lost on their island, mankind is fiddling their thumbs with a 3-foot grave for the Mother Box. Why not come back then? Why wait and like, oh wait, this Kryptonian that was only here for like a year and a half is gone. So come back now. It doesn't make any this. All it would take is a single nation that really gave a damn to shut Darkseid down, as long as we can muster some bows and arrows.
I will say I do like that they were like, oh yeah, the Nazis got this box. I was like,
Of course they did.
I was like, of course. It's like it's an ancient artifact, therefore the Nazis had to have it.
The Nazis
so
or,
it's
or
like,
Indiana
good for y'all.
Jones, or
Apparently the
Indiana
Nazis
Jones got
found
it.
everything.
Real quick. I do want to talk a little bit more about that fight thing because there were two things that I thought was a little bit weird. But real quick, Jason, do you remember that episode that we did with Nerd On where we talked about things that we wanted to see them remake?
Yeah.
So today, Disney announced that on Disney Plus, they are going to be doing a National Treasure reboot with a Latina lead. And I'm reading that and I'm like, Jason, they listened to our episode when I said that they should bring back Relic Hunter. And that's exactly what they're doing. They're bringing back Relic Hunter, but under the title National Treasure.
You did
If
say
they
that.
don't get Tia Carrere to make a special guest appearance, it'll be awful. If it's a Latina lead and she's an archaeologist and there's a British assistant who comes over to work under her, it's totally Relic Hunter, and I want to watch that show. It'll be the only other reason for me to watch anything on Disney Plus.
There
It's a good
you go.
sidebar.
Anyway, okay, so did anybody else think it was weird that the Atlanteans arrived on a boat?
Well, that's before. No, because that's before they had.
Oh, it's
that's
before it
there's-
sunk.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
before. Okay, that
Yeah.
makes sense. Okay,
Yeah.
I was wondering. I was like, why are they on a
No,
boat?
yeah.
Like-
They're just regular humans now at this
So,
point
like,
with advanced
and-
technology.
and-
So they were just like regular dudes. They didn't have like any special strength. They couldn't swim underwater. How did they get
So
that?
they had advanced technology. That's about it. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Okay.
magic, maybe, depending on which origin you're reading.
Here's my
Okay.
question for you nerds, because I'm woefully ignorant about this. Having this argument with my children while we were watching it. Can the
No.
Atlanteans not talk underwater, or are they just going in air bubbles for the sake of us, the audience, or can they just talk?
They can
to-
talk underwater.
It's unclear. Sometimes it seems like they're speaking a different language.
Yeah,
that-
it
Have
sounded
you
like
tried
they
to
were
talk
speaking
underwater?
like
It's very
dolphin.
unclear.
Very unclear, but I
Yeah.
think in the Aquaman movie, if
Yeah,
you're
they-
taking that as canon, they definitely talk. So
They
Well,
talk.
they talk in this one. It's like weird, like dolphin whistles and stuff.
Well, no,
like
that's my
that.
okay.
like-
That, but forget that, because I think she was. I thought she was talking to animals when she was doing that.
yeah,
She was talking
Not
to her.
other.
She,
pe- not
she was
to other
talking to her
people.
comrade, I think. or-
Yeah, she
or
was
her
just talking
comrade
to
was
her
talking
bro.
to him.
another dude.
She was just like,
Yeah.
"Hey,
Okay.
man."
So
where's
then, why do they
everybody
go
at?"
into air bubbles to talk English?
because
And
it
they can
saves
just-
on CG.
yeah. I think that is
Seriously,
absolutely-
all
Yeah,
of
it
the
helps with the hair
all
effects.
of the hair, the hair effects and the
But I mean,
color
it's
it,
that
yeah.
whole thing, like when you said, Adam, when you talked about, you reach that point where we have to believe this, but you've got to
Mhm.
continue with that. So if they're
Yeah.
going to start it, just
Well-
have
do it all the way.
Well,
all
I
the way with
don't.
it.
I don't think that Steppenwolf speaks Atlantean, so that's the reason that she makes the air bubble so they can chat. And I'm pretty sure
important.
that he doesn't that Arthur or Aquaman doesn't speak Atlantean either. Or
Right, but
or
even
maybe
between the
maybe he's got enough Atlantean to like help him on spring break, you know, type of
Yes.
Atlantean. He
Yeah,
knows
yeah.
about that much. He's like,
but the
I know where
most
the
intimate
beer is in the
conversations
bathroom.
between two Atlanteans is in these air pockets that we get to see, and it just didn't. I didn't really like having to buy that. I'd rather have subtitles and them or whatever they're doing
Well, I
with
mean,
each other.
yeah, I mean that's what I
Or
don't
just
think,
let
I
them
don't think we
talk
had I
underwater.
don't think we had Atlanteans in an air bubble. I think the one time like when she's talking to the guard, they're doing squeaky squeakies and it's
No,
subtitled, isn't it?
I
No, we
think
had
it's
No,
when
no,
they
no,
talk in
yeah.
air bubbles.
Yeah,
Oh,
the air
it was an
bubble
air
there.
bubble. Oh,
Mhm.
I take back everything
Yeah.
I said. I apologize.
I think it's purely budget, and like they did spend 70 million more, but it was where are we going to spend the money?
Sure.
And
Yeah, so keep it to Steppenwolf.
sometimes,
Yeah.
exactly, they're like, well, this thing has to die. And also at the end of the day, at this moment, I don't think Warner Brothers has plans to continue the Snyderverse. And so they
Right.
could spend
Oh.
money on it, but why?
Just you wait though.
Oh,
Now
I'm sure
that-
the fans
now
will
that the
lose their
Snyder Cut
goddamn
people,
minds.
now
Sure.
that the Snyder Cut people know that a prolonged targeted harassment campaign of toxic a-holery will get them the results that they want, they're gonna start up again. This is the cycle. We've seen it
Who's
over
doing
and over and over.
Flashpoint?
It's a
Who knows?
it was a Dave Muschietti
on so
from
many
It.
people.
If
So-
it's Dave, we'll probably get the Snyder cut of Flashpoint as well. He'll just like
It was
cut
like
a bunch of
they're
stuff.
it was like they recast Iris West, so she was in, then she was out, and she's back in again. So at least some things are.
I'm kind of at the
Snyder Cut
point where
bits.
I'm like, you know what? Maybe just don't give us any more with these characters. Like maybe just I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm an Ezra Miller fan, but I'm like, and maybe we don't have to put him as the Flash anymore, especially after that incident that he had in
Yeah.
Europe during COVID at a
Mhm.
bar. So maybe we don't put Ezra Miller in this one. Maybe we kind of like stay off on that. But you know, whatever.
I don't know. I think Flashpoint is their way to suture this thing back together. It's their Hail Mary. So it's probably what they're going to do now. During Flashpoint, if they wanted to, they could maybe get rid of Ezra Miller, or if they wanted to, because it's Flashpoint and you're like, oh, somebody, this Flash in this other place is now this Flash, and time and googly-gock.
Speed
And the audience
Force.
is like, cool, fine, exactly. So whatever they want to do in Flashpoint, they can make their own rules. They've made a huge mess right now, a huge mess. And they want to have a Marvel-like universe, but they can't have that without sort of dumping out all their toys and rearranging that puzzle.
So it's just exactly like DC Comics.
Correct.
They
Um,
desperately want to be Marvel, so they just keep doing crazy rebooty shenanigans.
Did you guys like what they did with Superman in this version? Like I liked
do you
the
mean?
black. I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh, Black Suit
Um,
was awesome.
The black
Mhm.
suit.
Yeah,
Nostalgic.
Yeah, they kept the Superman awaking and being angry at everybody. Or
for no reason.
Well, no, they have
no,
a reason.
no, they had the auto defense mechanism come and try to shoot
Yeah,
him.
I thought
So-
that was a good way to do that and be like,
Wow.
I
The
attacked
Is that
him.
one
I didn't
thing,
mean
though?
to.
The reason that that's there is because you can tell that Snyder really, really wants to do that story that he has at the end, because he's had it in Batman and Superman, where Batman has this little flash, like the Flash actually like comes into his dreams, and he has that sort of vision of what the horrible apocalyptic future could be. And then obviously it was super important to him to have this whole end. So him doing evil Superman is probably his baby.
And you
that's
know
what
it
he
is.
really wants.
And you know it is because he just keeps doing it.
Right. And
In
so
basically every
right,
movie in
the
DC he's
point
done.
of Superman going crazy is not just to have an action scene. The point
Yes,
of that is
set
to-
that up. Yeah.
correct, to show that he is as strong or stronger than all the Justice League, and he can, you know, take down the earth if he wants to. That's the point of that scene. That's why it was there. That's why it stays in. And that's why that end, Apocalypse stuff is staying in that movie or was added into the movie.
I don't know. I with bringing him back, I thought I mean I understand why we do it. I thought it was kind of dumb. I like the whole like, oh, Kryptonians, they just go into like a coma sleep, and yeah, that happens. And they come back and they have longer hair. Like in the comic. Hey, that's what happens in so we wake up and we're on like a fishing boat.
They could have just used CG to move the mustache around back for the mullet.
There you go.
Yeah, could have.
That's good.
Well, it's weird because
Question,
doesn't your facial hair also continue to grow while you're?
Yes.
I mean, they could have played that in there. They
Actually-
could have been like, hey, they could have been like,
No.
listen, let's give you more of a beard, and then they could have just given him like a fake beard around the mustache.
But
So
it's
it
like
turns out-
the mustache wasn't there though, at least for this part.
Yeah, it looked good, but I say that I couldn't tell that the mustache was there, regardless.
Yeah,
So-
well, yeah, it's like it's one of those things. There, if you know that it's there, then you know to look for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In this one?
No, it's like in the
in
regular.
Justice League, because they did the reshoots after
Yeah,
he had
yeah.
already signed.
was
Couldn't
the
tell
treaty
pretty-
with
that
Mission
You
Impossible.
couldn't tell that his
You-
lip was all.
No, because again, I
Okay.
only watched it in theaters the one time, and
Oh, it was-
so
it
I
was pretty bad.
never, I
was
didn't
pretty
know.
bad.
It was
beforehand, and I
pretty,
was just
it was
like,
pretty bad.
I
Quick
was already
question.
at that point in the movie. I was kind of like,
Who?
All right, we
who
got a
was
question
the,
here.
Who was the body? Who was the body in the stasis tube chamber thing on Superman's ship when he's walking down the hallway? Who-
Russell Crowe.
Huh?
No, I'm just kidding.
That's not.
Wait, what?
That's not supposed to be Jor-El. No, who is it supposed to be?
I don't know, but I kept seeing somebody that looked like an Ultraman suit. If people know Ultraman from
Oh, yeah, with the-
Earth 2, the
yeah,
Crime Syndicate,
yeah.
it looked like the Ultraman suit. It looked like a big U in the symbol. So just another evil Superman to throw on the pile of all of Snyder's favorite evil Supermen.
It was weird because like
Okay,
They-
so we don't know.
I
Okay.
don't
I don't know,
remember
yeah,
Man of
yeah.
Steel enough either, because like the whole thing was like, yeah, it was an
I do.
escape pod and it
I do.
crashes and whatever. It's like, was it a whole ship that left in Man of Steel and then an escape pod from the ship? Because they're like, this is Superman's ship.
The
that
ship was
landed
from
in
his
the
dad.
Arctic.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, did his dad put like people on board? Like, were there other people on that ship and Kal-El's the
It's like-
only survivor?
No, it was like an ancient ship. It was like
Yeah, ancient.
yeah.
It was
I
left
thought
there.
it was their ship. I
No,
thought it was
no,
part
it was
of
an ancient-
Kal-El's ship.
no,
The
it's like
ship-
No.
Predates Kal-El.
Yeah.
The ship that
Oh.
landed there is how Jor-El knew that Earth existed and what it was like. Because the
Oh.
ship was lost, but the transmission came back, so we know where that ship is. So hey, there's a chance you might even find some Kryptonians.
So that's
there,
a
like
Marlon
something like that.
Brando ship and not a Russell Crowe ship.
Yes,
Okay, I got
There you
you.
go.
yes.
Yeah.
In
No
the
one's gonna get that.
what?
Like,
in the extended
get
cut
it.
of Man of Steel, you can see all the cotton balls stuffed into the cheeks of the ship.
look at my phone color.
That's really
I
good.
got
got
paid
paid
a
$1
message-
million to do that. That's a terrible Marlon.
you kind
Brando.
of massacred my boy.
That would have been hilarious if like it just cuts to Russell Crowe and he's like, my boy, my beautiful boy. That's what,
What
they
have they
did
done
to
to my boy?
That would have been great. Anyway,
Russell Crowe as Don Corleone. Yeah, that's something.
one day, I mean, he's already a singer, songwriter.
When he
did
was a
sing
singer.
song about wanting to be Marlon Brando. He did.
there
he
you
had a
go.
whole song.
See,
Like that's legit when he was young.
Oh, dream come true.
and fighting
Bucket
around the
list.
world, man. The guy is just like all over it. But yeah, the end. I guess we can go to. Anybody have anything else about the movie before we kind of go into?
Why-
So many things.
Because I
Why
mean,
in the hell
we
is
could do a
Martian Manhunter in this
4-hour
movie?
version of this
Yeah.
thing,
That's a
and
good
I don't
question.
think we should.
Why is Martian Manhunter in this movie?
Yeah.
What a
What,
stupid
I agree.
decision.
Why wasn't Booster Gold in this movie? Like when they were talking, like we're gonna get a cool new thing, like it's gonna be crazy, and I was like, bro, Booster Gold. If it's not Booster Gold, then something's wrong. Because I'm like, maybe
Booster
we could get the whole-
trivializes it though. Booster could have taken
No.
Steppenwolf on his own, and it would have been over. Like boom.
I don't know,
So
man.
they
He
needed
got
to
punched
need
into space
Superman.
by Doomsday. I don't think he can beat Steppenwolf. if Doomsday can punch the bro into space, then Steppenwolf can like rip his head off.
Booster probably just was asking too much money. They weren't willing to meet his fee.
So who would they cast as a Booster Gold?
John Krasinski. He would make a
Oh.
phenomenal Booster Gold.
Oh,
If
He's
he's
not
not in
bad.
Shazam
That's cute.
too, I'm gonna be very sad.
No, they're not bad. I would also have accepted Zac Efron, who has
Oh,
he's
Zac
got the
Efron would be
energy.
great.
He's very good at the lovable d-bag, which is
too
exactly
short
Booster.
though.
Jake Gyllenhaal
come
would be
on.
good too. I think Jake Gyllenhaal would make a good Booster Gold. Like basically do what he did in Spider-Man.
Possibly. It'd be maybe a little too
Spider-Man.
much just his Spider-Man.
Screw it.
Again.
Screw it. Ryan Reynolds.
I
We'll
say
bring
Ryan Reynolds.
and we bring him back into the
He could
DC
play everything.
universe.
Yeah.
He just
Yeah.
plays Booster Gold like Deadpool. Like that'd be fine.
So to get back to the movie,
Yeah.
if we wind this back a bit, we get what is actually a legitimately very good scene between
Mhm.
Martha Kent and Lois Lane.
Yeah.
A really nice, really
Except
emotional sequence between the two of them. It's meaningful and it helps move Lois to the place she needs to be. It actually moves the plot forward. It's great. It's a legit, really good scene. And then it is completely ruined when Martha walks out the door and turns out to be Martian Manhunter. So this raises a bunch of questions, like a lot of the decisions in this movie.
I think you
Uh,
mean General Martian Manhunter.
Excuse General
General
Manhunter.
Manhunter. So, question of the first: what's going to happen when Lois
yeah.
is hanging out with Martha again? It's like, the thing you said to me really meant a lot, and it got me back on my feet again. It was just what I needed to hear. And Martha's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I've never been to Metropolis. Like,
See,
have they talked since the funeral? Has Martian Manhunter been just like chilling with Lois this whole time? How much is going on that Martha doesn't know about and is not going to be able to
exactly.
speak?
Are they going to put Ma Kent in a home because they think that she's got
here,
dementia?
guys, I hate to tell you this. Martha Kent died in that tornado as well.
No,
It's been Martian Manhunter.
been
This
Martian
entire
Manhunter
time.
this
I'm not shocked.
it was
Actually-
Martian Manhunter who got
actually-
rescued at the end of Batman.
Kevin
Well,
Costner
actually-
is throwing up right now.
Actually, Martha Kent never existed. It's always been Martian Manhunter.
We have to save Manhunter. Why did you say that name?
We got to save Marsha.
Save Martian.
Martha Manhunter.
Why'd you say Martha? No,
Hey, man,
I was saying
Martha
Martian.
Manhunter. It's all there. It all makes sense.
Martha
Yeah.
Manhunter sounds like the title of a Sex in the City episode.
Yeah.
I was like, how did that phone conversation go for Lois to say, hey, come back to the farm that you don't own no more to,
Yeah.
to see your son who's alive?
By the way,
Exactly. Like was nobody like I also like that, the bank was just like, let's just leave all this stuff. Like, let's just leave it all in the place. And
intact.
Martha and Ma Kent's like, you know what? I'm not gonna take anything. I'm gonna leave this house fully furnished and just let
Yeah.
the bank have everything. My husband's old shirts, the thing that would be memorable that I would probably want to keep, just leave it in the house. It's fine. They'll
Good enough.
bulldoze it, set it on fire. It's great.
And that exact inaction leads me
Oh.
to question number 2 about the Manhunter sequence. What has Martian Manhunter been doing all this time? Because this is now the third potentially world-ending catastrophe where he's just sat on the sidelines and been like, let's see what happens. Why does he do that? And then after everything, he shows up to Batman and is like, hey, I'm here if you need me. And Batman's response would logically have been, well, we could have really used you
yeah.
like a month ago. Where
It's
the
like,
hell
it's
were
like-
you then?
it's- there was too much fire, though. I guess. Like,
Right.
yeah,
He's
He
been
doesn't-
busy
yeah.
hunting dudes.
he don't like fire.
I was waiting to see if you could bring everybody together. Well, it would have been easier if I'd have had a superpowered Martian to help out.
Yeah, like a
Yeah,
cool,
yeah, it's like-
a
it's like
cool,
telepath who knows through
telepath
everything.
would be great right now.
Yeah,
That would be
right?
pretty
Where
spot
were
on.
you when Doomsday was destroying the city and potentially everything after that? Where were you when
I was
the
Ma
Kryptonians
Kent.
were destroying the planet?
I
Why-
was
yeah,
Ma
but-
Kent.
And that's the problem. It's all just nuts. Like there are 3 classes of Easter egg There's the Easter egg that actually serves the plot and is like a fun aside that moves the story forward. They're extremely rare, but they're great when they happen. There's the Easter egg that's there and you don't notice it one way or the other. It's just like a background element, like, oh, Starro is back there. It doesn't mean anything. It's just fun for the fans to look at. And the third is the Easter egg that gets in the way. It demands your attention so completely that it distracts from everything that's going on, but it adds nothing to the movie but questions. And when people this is the thing that drives me nuts about geek movies, in particular the comic genre, because comic fans, we are obsessed with being patted on the head and told that we were smart to spend our whole lives and fortunes on these comic books, and like being rewarded for knowing all these things. And I have seen so many people grade movies really highly based on the Easter eggs in the movie, but not because the movie was actually any good. And this is one of those cases where it's like, let's throw something in. We got to let's use Manhunter. Why? People like Manhunter. Just throw him in there.
I could feel you staring directly at me.
It's like, oh, you mean when at the end of Guardians 2, when they're like, oh, hey, let's create Adam Warlock, and then they just like don't do anything with him, and that movie's terrible.
If they do nothing with Adam Warlock in Guardians 3, that's going to be deeply disappointing.
Right.
Yeah,
But I
it seems
think
like
they
he
will.
would though.
I
I
think
James Gunn would.
I think James Gunn would. I trust.
I mean,
James
he's
Gunn.
God, so it's like, why would you not bring God in? Because didn't he?
Why
He's
would
the one
you
that actually
bring
beat
in
Thanos,
Superman?
right? Isn't
Now-
he the one that beat Thanos in one of the
here's
7
the
versions?
thing.
Got a red cape.
I want to be clear that Easter eggs are really fun, but you have to judge the movie on its own merits. And this
course, yeah.
movie and other movies are full of Easter eggs, but you separate the enjoyment of the Easter egg out from the actual content that you're watching. And that is the real equation of how good the movie actually is.
I tend to feel more, and again, the first couple kinds of Easter eggs where they're just like either not a big deal, just background, or when they're actually used to move the story. That's great. I
That's
love
fine,
that
yeah.
stuff. It's when it gets in the way, that's when I start feeling kind of insulted, because I'm like, you expect me to give you extra cookies for doing this thing, even though it's hurting your film. Like, you think that this is enough to distract me into thinking that this is a better movie than it really is. You're talking down to me. I feel condescended to when they do that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
You know, and it's nothing against the people who like them. You know, like, I don't know. I just want to see a good movie. I don't care if it connects to anything else. I don't care if it sets up a universe. I don't care if it speaks to some comic I read when I was 12. I just want to see a good movie. And if you need to change things, if you need to move things, if you need to make the characters different in order to do the best story and make the best movie, go to town. I do not care. Give me a good film experience. And this stuff gets in the way. It's distracting and it's
It
frustrating.
forces the audience, I think, very importantly, to ask questions you don't want them to ask. Like, there's a lot of things that we could slip into the uniques that then would force the audience to ask a lot of questions we don't want them to ask. So we're always saying, how will the audience react to this? You know, what will they think about it? How will they ruminate on it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And if I don't want to open that Pandora's box, I'm not going to do that. And this movie opens a lot of Pandora's boxes.
Before we end, we'll talk about the end of the film, the post-apocalyptic everything bit, where Joe Manganiello is now with the good guys, like he should be. So yeah, we've got Slade working with the good guys finally.
From the bad guys in the slightly future, but in the far future, he's a good guy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hey,
Joker's a good guy in the far future.
After everything that happened with Robin and the Titans, Slade turned over a new leaf. He died for a bit, comes back. He's a completely changed character. That's a Teen Titans joke for you kids out there. So who is it? It's the Flash. It's
Cyborg.
Mara.
Oh yeah,
Batman,
I forgot she's there.
And the Joker.
Yeah.
And
Quick
she's got
question.
like a Triton and a gun.
Quick question. Is that, because I don't know,
Hmm.
is that group That cohort, is that something from comics, or is that just them Snyder putting people together?
Just Snyder.
It's just
putting
Snyder
people
putting people
together.
together.
Jason,
That
you know what
doesn't-
that is? That's some sort of Suicide Squad right there.
Okay.
Oh,
That just doesn't make sense to me. I don't get it.
It's okay.
it's,
Not
it's,
that
it's,
joke.
I know.
The group of those people. Why? What's
Because
they're
they
all
already
who's left. They're all
because
who's left.
Jason, what happened was they had already signed Gal Gadot to a 4-film contract, and they were like, we can't do another one because that'll be her 4th film. So I mean, we want her to be in Batman versus Superman. We want her to be in Justice League and then the 2 Wonder Woman movies. So we can't get her again.
Right.
So we got to kill Gal Gadot, and then we'll bring in Mira. And that's what they
She's
did.
terrible.
And they were like, here she is.
I think they specifically didn't speak to Wonder Woman just in case.
But
They
they showed her
specifically
dead.
say, did they show her body dead?
Yeah, they
Yes,
showed
yeah,
her
yeah,
on,
in the-
on
in the-
the
in the
thing
fla-
with
in the
sword
ship.
and the
On the ship.
Oh.
and
Yeah, the
all the
premonition
other
on the ship.
That completely.
Amazonians are like kneeling, and her mom's there, and
Yeah, she's got
that
the
in the-
2 things for the ferryman.
yeah.
Is that in the epilogue or is that
No,
in
that's
one
in
of
the-
the other visions?
That's in the vision that
That's in
Cyborg
the
gets.
vision. Yeah.
Because I'm not sure if that is related to the post-apocalypse or if
Yeah,
that's
that's a
just
good-
a vision
that's a
of
good
what
call.
Another
Darkseid.
problem.
Yeah,
This is what happens if Darkseid wins. See, that's what I thought.
That's
The
fair.
mother
That's
box
fair.
is telling us, here's what happens. Here's Darkseid's plan. This is what we, the mother boxes, are going to make happen if you don't stop us. And that's not related to the Batman apocalypse, where it's a whole other thing with evil Superman, I guess.
Yeah, well, it's like in either of those scenarios, though, there's still the evil Superman who walks by with somebody's head or whatever. Then Lois is still like a corpse or whatever. She's like a burnt up.
She's
or
all
whatever.
burnty.
Yeah, she's all burnt up. So it's like,
Oh,
I
gross.
think
Sigourney
you're,
Weaver in Terminator.
yeah, so I think you're supposed to be the same general timeline, I guess. So it's like, yeah.
Okay.
I
Also unclear if that's a problem.
Yeah. Well, again, DC wants to tell you without telling you. And then the Joker's there. Sure. I thought it
guess.
was fine.
I don't get-
I
I'm
was
sorry,
not part of that group that was like, this is the best Joker Batman interaction that's ever been done.
Yeah, I don't
I'm
get
like,
that.
Oh, was
That
that
was
seen
really
Mask of the
bad.
Phantasm? Like that
Oh,
was.
So I'm not alone in that. I'm happy about that.
No, that was really bad. He says nothing. Joker's whole spiel at the end reads like some college guy who took half a semester of philosophy 101 and kind of understood it and now thinks that he is God's gift to theory. It's just noodling. He's
Snyder.
saying nothing with a lot of words.
Zack
And
Snyder.
he is simultaneously exceptionally vague and obnoxiously on the nose. It's not, it's such nonsense. It was like the speeches in Wonder Woman 84. It's using a lot of words to say nothing, but to kind of sound like it's meaningful.
And I like how Batman's like, don't say it, and he's like, Robin, and then Batman didn't like lose his
He
shit.
did nothing.
Like
Yeah,
he
he
was just
took
like,
the power away
I said
completely."
not to do it, but he did it. He called my bluff. Like
Damn it.
I'm just like, do something. And now I'm just like, which Robin did he kill? I don't know. This is a weird timeline. Was it Tim? Was it Dick? Was it actually
knows?
Jason?
Who knows?
Who
No,
knows?
it's-
Was
the
it
point
It's-
is,
it's
he
John
doesn't
Blake.
want to deal
Was
with Robin.
was it Katie? What
no,
or was
no,
it Katie
oh,
or
no.
Carrie? What's her name?
Carrie.
Carrie Kelly.
Was it Stephanie? Did they bring her
Stephanie,
back just
they
to kill
better
her?
not touch Stephanie.
That sounds like
Nah,
a
she's
DC
a.
thing to
Hey
do.
guys, we won't talk about Stephanie Brown. She's a spoiler.
Oh,
Boo.
no. Slow clap.
Jason, in comic books, Stephanie Brown played the spoiler character. Her character name was the spoiler.
Yes, our code name.
That
Yeah,
was her code name.
I know.
I don't think so.
I didn't know.
But
Now
yeah,
you
she hung
do.
around with the best Robin, which
for
we
calling
all
me
best
out like
Robin.
that.
and love.
So
Maybe they killed
Damien.
Damien, and you know what?
Oh.
If Jared
Oh, yeah,
Leto
Damien.
That
killed
was the case,
Damian
that's okay.
Wayne, I'd be like, Jared Leto, best Joker ever. Just
Well, you know it
hands down,
wasn't
best
Damien.
Joker.
It couldn't be Damien because people were sad about it.
I don't know. I think one person was a little bit sad, but even then, he was just like, "Don't say it." And he's like, Robin was like, "Oh, okay, like you got me there. He's a piece of shit." Like
Oh, Joker,
my son was a
you-
douche. Like I'll agree.
What am I gonna do?
Fair enough.
You do
Uh,
what you can, but it's the
question.
friends, you know.
Question: the Flash's suit, that mech warrior, weird looking.
The Iron Man suit.
What is that canon or is
Nope.
that? Because that looks so stupid.
Yep.
Like, why would he wear something that would make him possibly go slower?
Like a big toaster on his head that's.
I don't know.
Okay, good. I like it
It's
when you
just-
say I don't know. It makes me feel better.
Yeah.
Did they
Yeah.
did they do anything
Snyder-y
with the
things.
Superman Flash fight? Did they do anything more? Because like I remembered like
Oh,
The
r-
race?
Race.
No, the
no.
race isn't there. The
That's
race
cut
was
out.
only in the theatrical.
Oh,
The confrontation when Superman's all crazy and they fight goes a little longer.
okay.
A
But
little bit, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's not
It's a few
significant.
frame. It's a few
Because like
frames,
honestly,
yeah.
the only thing I remembered was like him running and then like Superman going like, I see you.
That
and
was
then,
awesome.
And then
Yeah.
That
Flash
is a
going
great
like,
moment.
Yeah.
"What?"
That
Like
is a
that's
great
the
moment.
that was the only part that I remembered, and I was like, yeah. But then I didn't remember anything else. I was like, was that all?
Wait
I
a minute.
remember they fought, but
The fist fight wasn't in. The fight wasn't in the original, was it?
No, they
thought
they
he
have a
just-
little bit of a fight. It's
I thought he
they
just
have a
drifted.
truncated.
Yeah.
It's
Oh.
truncated, but it is there. The whole thing with him
Uh-huh.
smashing into the
Yeah.
memorial.
Oh, I don't
didn't
remember that
happen.
from the first
That
one.
didn't
Okay.
happen.
was I?
And
That was great.
And any
What-
any Superman lines that he says during that, those are all taken out. It's like there's no. It's like, do you bleed?
Ugh.
That just sounds terrible.
Yeah, with his mouth going all like a big like a big like gummy smile. Do you bleed?
Was the bit with Aquaman and Flash when like he throws Flash into Aquaman and then at
No.
the end Aquaman like points at him like, I'm gonna get you. Like I
Go
thought
get
that
you
was
next time.
good.
I
I
gotta
thought
get you
that
next
was good.
time.
I was like, I giggled at that. I was like, he.
I did too.
Like one of the very few times in this movie that a giggle is uttered, because usually it's just like you're sweating, like on the edge of your seat, pretty much. But then I was just like, Flash. That was pretty good.
I thought the whole banner about Wonder Woman at like Superman's grave. I thought that was a kind of a chuckle. It's like, do you think Wonder Woman will go for a younger guy? It's like she's 5,000 years old, so every guy's younger than her.
Yeah.
How
She's
does
got a
Wonder
point.
Woman know that his name is Kal-El? They'd never met.
They met in Batman vs Superman, didn't they?
Yeah,
Yeah, but he never
at
was
the
like,
end.
"Hey,
Did he
man."
explain to her that I'm Kal-El, the last son of Krypton?
No, at that
He
point,
didn't tell
at
Batman that, so Batman couldn't have told her.
Batman,
How does she know any of that
She's a
stuff?
historian. She knows.
Was
She's
him
5,000
being
years old.
him being Kal-El, last son of Krypton, is part of history? Did
It's in the
everybody
book
know this?
somewhere. Don't question it.
I would assume that Bruce and Lois had a big talk. And
Would you?
then,
Because he didn't do anything to stop Ma Kent from losing her farm.
Yeah.
well, he didn't know about. He talked
It-
to
it's-
Lois. He didn't talk to Ma Kent.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe he was
Although he
talking
did,
to
he
Martian
did save Ma Kent. The previous movie. He's like,
That's
hey,
right.
Yeah,
what's the story of your son? Real quick.
yeah.
I know-
Like,
so
I'm
yeah,
sure
you got,
that-
yeah,
I'm sure they
you got the
talked.
same name as my mom. So yeah, it's like,
Yeah,
me the
it's
5
well,
minute
our
version.
moms have the same name, so therefore you're basically my mom.
yeah.
Speaking of, can I call you mommy, or is that weird?
We don't know because again, that's Martian Manhunter. He may have just told
Could have
Bruce
been Martian
previously.
Manhunter, yeah.
God damn it.
He turned into
Strikes
Alfred, and
again.
Alfred actually told him about it. I assumed she heard everything from Bruce. That
How
was
did
what I
Bruce know?
assumed.
Yeah, that's just a bad
And
assumption.
it's
That's it.
just don't do things that force people to ask questions.
Like Zack Snyder has treated all of these films as if everybody knows these characters, that there are certain things that everybody knows. And Superman is just Superman. That's why he has the world mourning the loss of Superman, even though never in these movies has Superman been like the light of the world. He almost destroyed the world in his first appearance when a bunch of evil aliens came looking for him. And then he has a few scenes of like mournfully and sorrowfully saving a handful of lives in the second movie, but none of that justifies the world loving him as a symbol of hope. He puts it in there because he's like, well, yeah, but everybody knows Superman's symbol of hope. That everybody gets that. But he's telling the origin of these characters. He's got the end of Man of Steel with a young Clark Kent putting a red towel around his neck and striking a pose. Who's he pretending to be?
Yeah, exactly.
Every kid
Adam
puts the
Warlock.
red towel on.
Adam Warlock.
The kids are pretending to be Superman. There is no Superman
I
yet.
remember asking that when I saw that. Like, who wore a red cape back then? So I
It's
don't know.
just- it's
I
full
want
of
to be me.
assumptions.
I want to be
It-
me
it-
grown up.
the old Green Lantern wore a red cape from like Justice Society.
The
He
old
had a
Green
red cape
Lantern
on.
wore a violet cape
Oh,
with
Yeah.
green trim. His
Here's the
shirt
thing.
was red.
Here's
if he
the
had
thing.
put the towel
Violet-
around his
hey,
chest,
at that point it was like the 80s. Violet didn't come to Kansas until like 2004. So
Mm.
yeah,
there you go.
Kansas is still not
Here's-
sure if
here-
teal is from the devil.
Wait till fuchsia comes in 2035. They are gonna lose it. And oh,
Hues.
dude, periwinkle. Oof, that caused a rift between Kansas and Kansas State.
That's too
Um,
European.
So does everybody know? Like, doesn't everybody know that Clark Kent is Superman?
It was like, at this point, yeah. It's
Well,
common
like,
knowledge at this
When,
point.
at the
when
end of the
Clark Kent
movie-
comes back to life a week
No.
after Superman comes back to life, people might ask some questions.
Exactly. It's like that happens, and she's like, Lois is like, I have a secret, and she's like, Clark, it's me, Clark.
With all the
I'm
people
Lois.
around,
Clark
everybody's
Kent,
there.
Lois Lane. We work at the Daily Planet.
Right.
And like all the, and I'm just like, there's a cop there. Like everybody, when he comes up and he's like shirtless, and I'm like, obviously he has to be shirtless. Even though when he went in the water, he had a shirt and shoes. But whatever.
I don't care.
Uh,
if I looked like that, I'd never wear a shirt either.
Yeah,
I mean, like, he
exactly.
put-
Yeah.
He put the time in. Might as
So-
well.
So he treats that shirt like a mask.
Yeah.
Henry Cavill is a huge nerd, but man, he can get it.
And he is a
Good for him.
huge nerd.
He is. It's
but,
He is,
like,
legit.
like because like and like all those like all the cops, all the army people, which by the way they do a scene of showing that those army dudes get out of that one Humvee right before it explodes, but that first Humvee, they're dead.
Yeah,
Like,
yep, they
let
get
let us
home.
let us be clear that
Very
Superman
dead.
killed at least 2 people.
Yes.
Like
This
they
time.
died.
So he's already got a
and-
better marks than when he was alive. You know?
Because then it just goes to the end, and it's like when he's walking through and he's like, oh, an alley, Superman. And I'm like, shouldn't these people be like, hey, yeah, it's Superman guy, aren't you? You know, like they've
Well,
all
I don't
got
think so.
Insta. I mean, like you'd be like, hey, that I know you. Like, you're that guy, you know? Like you've got
One of 'em-
glasses on, but I mean, like I've seen the pictures. I would have recognized Keanu Reeves when he was in the Plaza District in Oklahoma City. I would have been like, yeah, that's Keanu Reeves. Like,
One of my favorite things that I've ever seen was an illustration somebody did, just a little like 2-frame comic on Twitter of Lois Lane sharing a photo of her and Clark on Facebook. And then the little box comes up on Facebook.
Yeah, it's like,
Is this Superman?
Superman? Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it's vice versa. It's her and
Yeah, yeah.
Superman. And the thing is this Clark Kent? And she's
Yeah.
like,
It's like,
she's like, the algorithm, it doesn't know. Yeah, like so
I love that
Super-
line. I love that line between, hey, our audience is smart enough to get this, and hey, our audience is too dumb to get this, so let's explain it. And it's just those sharp contrasts in
Yeah.
one movie.
yeah.
In all sorts of movies, but in this particular one.
Sure. Well,
We're
you
s-
have to be able to pick and choose those moments. And I just think that this
Yeah.
movie, whilst it was much better than the other Justice League movies,
and has a lot of it has a lot of scenes that I really like.
right, it makes those choices poorly in too many places. And that's
Yeah.
what kills it. I want it to be better. I wanted this whole thing to work. I remember watching the first Man of Steel Superman, and like in the first half, it was like they might pull this off. And then by the end of it, I was like, oh no.
They crashed the ship.
No, why'd you fly it into the mountain? All you had to do was land the plane.
I will say my favorite line, and feel free to disagree. My favorite line in that movie was "He smelled us," meaning that Superman was able to figure out that they were there by his sense of smell, not by his sense of hearing or his sense of sight or the fact that he's Superman. He smelled them, and
Oh, because he's Superman.
I think that's great. Well, I'm
The
just like,
super
well,
sniffer.
did he never smell them before? Like, was he never just like Bruce? Like,
He's like a dog. You got to train that scent. You got to train that to a particular scent. You know?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I'm pretty sure he would remember the guy who they have the same mom name. You don't forget your
I guess
don't forget.
Don't
that.
forget
Or
that.
the guy
Yeah.
that you were real pissed at for a long time.
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh guys, this was fun. This was a fun episode. Maybe we'll do it again for Godzilla when that movie comes out.
There
Oh,
goes
yeah.
Tokyo.
As long
week.
as they kill Kong.
Hey,
I'm fine with
shut
it.
up.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's like that last
I'm
trailer,
sorry.
man. That last trailer was like darn Kong propaganda, man.
That
Team
monkey's got to go.
He's got to,
I,
man.
Monkey's got to
I
go.
don't like monkeys. Like if they don't put Mothra in this movie, like I'm gonna demand a
Mothra is
No.
dead.
Why?
Why'd you
are
say that
Mothra eggs.
name?
Do you not
This guy-
respect?
There's going to be a scene at the end, and Kong is choking out Godzilla, and Godzilla's going to look up at him with a tear in his little eye, and he's going to say, "Mothra must save Mothra."
Mothra died saving Godzilla. So,
Yeah, but Mothra had babies. Remember, there were eggs. That means we can get new Mothra.
oh,
and
Godzilla
then
ate
whatever
those.
the
He
other
was-
moth was, I can't remember its name. What was
It's not
the
his
other?
fault. They're
He's the less
delicious.
popular mom.
Mm,
What
thirsty
was-
Mothra.
They're so good. Nom, nom.
Yeah, I mean, he's just like
Get a
Baby
little more
Yoda, man. He
Mothra.
just loves egg. He just loves eggs. You know?
Oh no. Okay, so
Cold-blooded killer.
he is. He's a terrible, terrible thing. Oliver, where can everybody find you social media wise?
They can find me on Twitter at where are you?
And you can find him teaching this fall.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be a bit. Comfort, Adam, what about you guys?
Ooh,
Plug,
You
plug
can
your
find
stuff.
find us on Instagram or Twitter at Comfort and Adam.
Yep, and you can read our comics, The Uniques and Rainbow in the Dark and Kitty Game on WEBTOON. So anywhere Comfort and Adam, just at Comfort and Adam, and you will find us.
And Jason, what about you, my friend? You got anything that you're allowed to promo?
My show, The Dragon Prince, the Emmy-winning Dragon Prince. We are working on season 4, much anticipated. Everyone's excited about that, the fans. So
We're not. It's all right.
that's okay. Yeah, fair enough.
Liar!
I shouldn't say everyone. So that's very exciting. You can find me on Instagram at Simpstagrams and Twitter at @Simpson. Simpson.
Yep.
Nice.
And we'll put everybody's links in the show notes so you can find them and Comfort and Adam's comics. And we'll throw a link on Netflix to Dragon Prince too, so you can watch Jason play everybody's favorite character, Soren. That was the
Wow.
name of your character, right? I don't remember. I don't watch the show.
That hurts. Ouch.
Jason plays the dragon in the series.
Okay,
I
and I'm
believe.
out.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Josh L. Cain. You can find the podcast on Instagram at What's Up Fandom, on Twitter at What's Up Fandom PC for podcasts. All of our episodes available: iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, Google Play, Spotify. Our video episodes are up on YouTube. You can also go to our website, animationstationpodcast.com. Thanks to Wild Bill's Soda for sponsoring this episode. Go to drinkwildbills.com. Use the code fandom10 at checkout and get 10% off your purchase. Get some delicious soda pop. Like you guys have been to conventions. You know
Yeah.
Wild Bill's, the place where you go and you
Absolutely.
get the Stein and it's like unlimited free refills for the weekend. That place. Yeah, that cool place. Yeah,
It's good stuff.
Now you can get it in cans, so you can get the delicious soda in cans, and they're delicious. And again, thanks to 1 out of 10 for the intro and outro for this episode. Guys, again, thank you so much for this. This was fun. I'm glad we were able to talk about it, and I'm glad that we all semi-enjoyed the film.
So am I.
All right, so for What's Up Fandom, I'm Josh.
I'm Oliver.
I'm Jason.
I had him.
I'm Comfort.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
See ya.
I'm not the leading authority on action, poetic, or using big words. But this right